Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares. Welcome back to the Fangoria Movie Challenge. This is the segment I've been doing with my good buddy, Joe the Horror Man. We're not only going to watch, but also review all 101 movies Fangoria thinks we should have seen. Today we're going to be talking about The Ninth Gate. The Ninth Gate is a 1999 film which runs approximately 133 minutes and is directed by Roman Polanski. Now, he was responsible for Chinatown, Repulsion, and Cul-De-Sac. This stars Johnny Depp as Dean Corso. He was in A Nightmare on Elm Street, Nick of Time, and The Lone Ranger. Frank Langella as Boris Balky. He was in Frost Nixon, Dracula, and The Box. And Lena Olin as Liana Teffer. She was in Chocolat, Romeo is Bleeding, and Hunters. Now, this had a budget of $38 million and had a worldwide gross of $58,401,898. Now, the cigarettes that Lena Olin smokes are called Black Devils. It's pretty wild looking. Depp didn't take his normal $10 million fee to be able to work with Roman Polanski. All right. Now, this is a movie that actually Joe and I both talked about this one. You can't really say a lot about it. It has to be experienced because there's a lot of nuances on this film. Basically, Johnny Depp plays Dean Corso. Dean Corso he knows a lot about books, a lot of classic books. And what he does is after people die or if they want to sell their books, he goes in, kind of estimates a price, and does transactions with buyers and stuff like that. And these are classic books like first printings of, major books in history. He's called up by a rich person by the name of Boris Balk, and he is played by Frank Langella. Now, Frank Langella has this book about summoning the devil. It's called The Ninth Gate. It's got a fancy foreign name, but I can't remember what that is. So there's supposed to be 3 books in all. The only problem is there's inconsistencies with each book. There's supposed to be 9 engravings inside the book, and if you mix and match the engravings to the right ones, you're supposed to be able to walk through the ninth gate, which is hell. That's pretty much the story in a nutshell. Frank Langella character wants Johnny Depp's character to look at the other books and see if they're comparable and so on and so forth. And of course, there's a nefarious purpose behind it. I already probably said too much. Now, this is an interesting film, and this is one that actually both Joe and I saw in the theaters when it came out in 1999. Like I said, this is the longest movie on the Fangoria Movie Challenge, clocking it at 133 minutes. And this is something that Joe and I both have in common, is that we kind of have an aversion to sitting through long films. Part of the reason horror is so... There's basically an hour and a half runtime sort of standard trope in horror. Anything that's longer, it's not like we tend to... Well, we kind of do tend to avoid it. Because if I'm going to watch something for 2.5, 3 hours, I can watch 2 horror movies and be in and out. It's just something that we have in common. It's something that I can't tell you how long it took him to review it. Chapter 1 because it's so long. Now, of course, I went to the movies and saw that, so when you're in the movies, you kind of sit there and unless it's a terrible movie, I may have only walked out once on a movie, if that. I got thrown out once, but that's a different story for a different day. Um, yeah, we do have an aversion to watching long movies, and that's probably why this one got put off so long. But with that being said, this is a fantastic movie. It really is. And it really gets your mind thinking of how things are and supernatural, if it's possible, or the whole religious aspect, stuff like that. Um, it's very odd because I'm recording this and you'll see this later on. But when Joe and I watch this, I have certain shows I watch that I DVR all the time. And one of the shows I've been watching is The Secrets of Playboy. And that's where they're trying to out Hugh Hefner for doing horrible things to women. And to be honest with you, the show kind of gets on my nerves most of the time. But that night, after we watched it, was called Predators. I think Predators Ball or something like that. And one of the people to be named, well, two of the people to be named, two of the main focuses of the story were Bill Cosby and Roman Polanski. And I thought that was kind of odd. And I learned some stuff about him that he's always been I would not want to be him, let me tell you that. First of all, I wouldn't do the things he's done. But, his name has always been in the press for something. If it's not making a great movie, it's, being involved with the Tate murders with, not being involved, but being there or being a part of the Tate murders with Charles Manson, or having sex with a 13-year-old girl and having to leave the country. It's just, guys, I don't know. I don't like to judge. I mean, I judge movies. That's what I judge. But he's a piece of crap. I mean, let's just be honest. But the man can direct. Now, with that being said, I'm going to get to my relatable recommendation. I'm going to go with The Tenant. I find this to be criminally underrated. One of his better films. Joe and I also talked about that, and I was kind of curious to what he was going with, and we started talking about Repulsion, which I've never made it through. I fell asleep. Eventually, I have to give it another try, but it just didn't do much for me. Joe kind of felt the same way. And a movie that I actually did not know that he directed, Cul-De-Sac, which has Donald Pleasance in it. I also fell asleep during that. So, his movies tend to be a little, and this was what I quoted to Joe, his movies tend to be a little bit long-winded. Like, I do believe there are things that could have been cut out of his movies that still would have had an impact, but, maybe would have shortened the runtime just a bit. But that's just my own personal opinion. Check out The Ninth Gate. It's a fantastic film. It really is. Check out The Tenant. This is a very underrated movie from him. And this actually just got a Scream Factory, well, it didn't just. It's been a while, but it got a Scream Factory Blu-ray from this one. Really good film, very underrated. And check out Joe's review and see what he picked as a relatable recommendation. And if you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.